This is just a quick little live video of why I pick certain scissors that I like to use in my kit and the ones that I like to carry around and whatnot. So I hope you enjoy it. This was shot live at Paul Mitchell the School, Lexington, Kentucky. If you're watching, shout out, and then please subscribe. I hope you like my video series. Thanks.
I like to go over why I choose scissors because I feel like a lot of people there's so many things to choose from. What's the right one for me? This is my kit of scissors. I travel with this. I travel about 40 weekends out of the year, and I carry this bag on the plane with me, not under the plane. You're like, how do you get scissors on a plane? The rule is 3.75 inches from pivot to point, that's why. So really, I can carry this scissor on the plane. It's 3.75 inches from here to here. And people are like, do they stop you on the plane? Every single time. My number one favorite scissor right now is this one. It's an HH6. Do you want to pass these around as I go through them? That'd be great. I know you already weren't going to, you saw me get through this. My number one favorite scissor is an HH6. The reason I love an HH6 is I love the handle configuration, but it's not the handle configuration that's the most important, it's the length. The handle configuration is your own personal preference. The length is what's important to me. Okay? I like this one because I love this little bump right here. It's called a camelback, and it's got a long tang. I like a long tang because I like to push out with my pinky, and I pull back on the camelback. In a second here, you're going to see. So HH6 is my favorite. I like the matte finish. They tell me that it's a better scissor in the matte finish. I don't care. Right? If it's a better scissor and it comes in a matte finish, I'm going to own it. Right? I own 2,400 scissors. I never throw scissors away at all. I have thousands and thousands. This is just my kit that I travel with. So I like I said, I like my 5.5 to a 6.5 inch scissor. You probably have a 5.5 to a 6.5. Okay? Everybody has one. That's your mainstay. If I'm stuck on a deserted island, I'm going to use this scissor to build a clientele. Okay? My next favorite scissor is going to be a 7-inch. Why would I use a longer scissor as opposed to a shorter scissor? What's the purpose of using a long scissor? Covers more area, correct. When you are doing scissor over comb, you can actually do whole sides of head with it, right? I don't do scissor over comb a whole heck of a lot, but you see somebody like Roy J who comes in and does like skin fades with a 7-inch scissor. I think it's awesome. What I like the most about it, yeah, I saw that. What I like the most about it though is that if somebody asks me to mow the lawn of a football field, am I going to use a push mower or am I going to use a John Deere? This is my John Deere, right? Also, when I'm cutting like layers, if I have a longer scissor, I can see my angle of my blade better when it's longer as opposed to when it's a short blade. Is that truly horizontal or is that truly horizontal? I have more of that surface space that lets me know. Scissor. My next favorite scissor, these little cuticle nippers. 4.5 inch. Why would anybody ever use a 4.5 inch? Yeah? But also, it is precision. And what it is there is a reason for that. Between here and here, this is just Bella's hair. This isn't part of her hairline. This is Bella's, right? This is like what's on your arm. But from here to here is exactly the same length. There to there. So when you're cutting your graduation, you're doing those pretty little like wedges or round graduations or like triangular graduation bobs kind of thing. The smaller the scissor, that's actually the length of your graduation through that basement. Is that interesting? And then my last 3 favorite scissors are my multi-tooth scissor. This one is kind of a specialty. This is your 4420. You probably get these in your kids, right? It's a 14T, no, a 40T, right? Yeah, 40T. They're called 4420s in most of our kits. It's a barbering texturizer. I do use it for perimeter sometimes, but my 13T, which we have 3 variations of now, and my 14T. My 13T has a little apple bottom at the bottom. Bad for jeans, good for scissors. The reason it's good is because when you have the little apple bottom at the bottom, I don't know if you guys have used texturizing shears yet at school, but when you're here and you go like this, if it's a square bottom, it goes. When it's an apple bottom, it goes. Right? So it slides through. Right? That's why I like the little apple bottoms. Then I use this one if I need a little bit more hair taken out. Okay? So you're going to see me use probably these two here in a second. And this gives me the effect of an unguarded straight razor. And then finally, I have my extreme specialists, which is this is a dry slide cutter. This is only made for dry cutting, and it's only made for texture. Right? You can tell because you cannot cut a straight line with how big and wide those blades are. It pushes hair out. So really what everybody needs is you need a 5.5 to a 6.5, you need a 7, you need a 4.5 to a 5, you need a 13T, a 14T, a 40T, and a dry slide cutter. You don't need them all at the same time. You actually need to just like what you have now, you keep that, you add to your kit, and then you replace this one eventually.